get focused, we're going to do some level design today. That's what we're going to do. We've been working on our little puzzle platformer that has to do with time snapshot. And I don't know, we're supposed to finish this week in order to get to the Next Fest, Steam Next Fest, to submit for it. But it seems pretty impossible at this point, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is a live stream. Yes, you're right. It's not a devlog, but you're here with me. So let's work together. Okay, I got to do my usual beginning of the stream setup here, making announcements and such. So give me a second. It's quick game number 1. I'm also working on 2 other games simultaneously that are also meant to be small. One for the ones with the weekly update. By the way, this is not my weekly update game. The weekly update game that I'm going to finish, that we're finishing together, is separate from this one. So we got a lot going on. Let me first get my little stream setup going so I can see what's happening here. And then we'll get to making some levels as we should. Exciting times are being had over here. Okay. As usual, no music in the background today. Turn on your own music. Hi, Conic. Hey, long time. Hey, Devi. Sorry, I didn't see your chats because I just turned it on. Good timing, everyone. Live now. YouTube link. And oh, you know, feeling a little stressed out here. A lot of work to be done. But it's okay. We're going to make it through. Boom. Okay. I think we can get focused here. You know, splitting your attention between like 5 different games simultaneously is nothing short of a feat, I think. It's a feat in project management and mental juggling, I think. I feel like the background light is not as blue as it used to be. It feels like maybe there's too much daylight right now. It's pretty sunny out here, so that kind of makes sense. Conic says, what are we doing today? I was saying we're going to try to finish making some level design for our little time snap platformer puzzle thing. So we have this game, basically just regular platformer plus kind of Metrovania in that there's no combat, by the way, not that I can think of. But the idea is basically in this location, you can go between... Oh, I gotta sneeze. You can go between the past, where this timestamp is coming from. It's a past snapshot. Kind of think Obra Dinn, Return Obra Dinn. And then you can go between these 2 world or 2 time zone between the... in the space, and then you're navigating with this little item in order to get to, I don't know, the final goal. So we got to do some level design here. Thanks. Conic says, I love the parallax. Thank you. I enjoy it too. It's seen a better days, I think. We could probably make it better, but right now I think it's sufficient. So we have this right now. And immediately people get to experience, I think the idea is, oh, wow, things are changing. I don't quite understand what's happening, but I can see that things are different once I pick it up. And then I want to also say, I definitely need a hint of being able to press E to drop the time capsule again. So we already had it so that when the player gets near the time capsule, the little E button instruction comes through. So I think once you pick it up, either give an instruction with a pop-up or get him get the player to a place where they need to drop the time capsule in order to get to a place. So for example, I think so that's the level design right now. Hey Cooley. Davey says preemptive bless you. I'm sorry, I didn't sneeze. I actually was able to hold it. Davey says the sun just set here, fellow American. Oh really? I mean like it's still going for us. I guess it's the difference in time zone here. Cooley's saying hi. Ed's starting soon. You know what? I'm gonna give it an Ed. Please stay around. I'll be here. And if you're cool people like Devi, you wouldn't be impacted by the Ed. Devi says, "Yay! 5 stream streak. Quite the streak." All right. So level design. Devi says, "Oh, my goal to get you to sing." I feel like you have a lot of trust in the fact that you're going to enjoy watching me sing at all. I never said I'm good. That's not there because I'm good at it. That's there because it's a pain for me. Anyways, hopefully it's everything that you hoped and dreamed of. All right, so we're going to do some tile map design here. So I made it so that you can have 2 separate tile maps for the past, present, and continuously. So I'm just going to do some design here. Definitely the idea is, oh, there were places that you could go that you couldn't go before, which is more like this. I think this allows us to go over here. We got to be careful here. I think I want to make sure that this is like blocked off like a little hill for now. And then I'm going to think about what's going to happen here. And then alternatively, we go from here. And then I think it's probably wise to draw one that's over here. I guess in order for it to look not as crazy, I might as well do something like this. And have this stick around like this so that the player can go from here to here. Let's test that out. Devi says, lol, do we ever start a story for the little dude? I forgot. No, not really. I just know that the dude is here in this mysterious place. And then I probably think this demo at least will end with finding the little pup and then reuniting with the pup. Oh, that's a hard jump. I don't know about that one. Okay, I need one more. I don't want I'm not trying to make everything a platforming challenge here. And I got to make sure that's accurately translated. One more. There you go. That's a little better. Da-da-da. Okay. This I think is where I need to probably start designing more stuff. You know, I'm going to say there's probably a wall. So it feels like, oh, I can't go anywhere. And then over here, it's going to say press E to drop. And then it's going to be like this. And the dramatic drop will lead us to here. I like the fact that, like, as soon as you learn everything, you get this dramatic drop into the oblivion, right? Feels poetic in some sense. And then we're probably going to transition a scene here. Does that make sense? Right? It's like, oh, drop the time capsule to go to present. So we're going to have that instruction right here. So we'll have Another one, which I guess I'm also not doing it by the book in terms of like reusing components and being like diligent on reusing some of the coding and concepts. I'm just like really just doing whatever I want at this point. Drop instruction just to get it to a playable state, you know? To drop to I feel like the drop doesn't quite make sense, right? Because without knowing the context of the whole game, the player still haven't had the thought of, oh, I am dropping and picking up this time flame thing. So I need to make sure this language is correct and understandable. Because especially because they're dropping, if I say, oh, all right, bye, Conic. Conic says, I wish everyone here a pleasant day. Sadly, I live in EU, so I got to sleep. Good night. Thanks for being here. Yusuf says, hi, Ezra. I'm listening to you for sleep, but you really make a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you have a great sleep. I don't know if I put you to... What happens if you keep me on and then you fall asleep and I go offline? Like, do you have your device on the whole time? Devi says, so for the world I'm working on, lol, I added MJ to the Barry world. Like MJ as in like Michael Jackson. You got the Jackson Barry. Cooley says, I've left someone on before while sleeping and got woken up to someone they rated screaming. I can see that happening. Okay, we're going to say E to go back. No. I don't know. Maybe I don't say anything. I just go press E. And they were like, what? No, I think it has to be instructional to drop. You know what? I got it. I got an idea. If I just say to drop, it's like, am I dropping down? Is this what that is? I think what I'm going to do is have one more sprite. And then give it this like time capsule look to it. Oh, whoops. It's multi-part. So I got to do Atlas. So I'll do Atlas texture. And then use this. And then we're just going to grab a part of it, which will be more like this, like so. And then, I mean, that may be a little bit more obvious. At the least, the connection for the player being like, oh, that's what that was, should register, I think. I don't know. And this one should be over here. And then so I go here. Hello, Baka Design. Welcome. Devi says, they protect the dragon fruit lords. It's hilarious. MJ? What is MJ? You sure it's not Michael Jackson? I mean, because that's what I thought you were saying. That's the only MJ I know. Okay, we picked it up. That's very cool. We definitely need some. Oh. Okay. And then I go, you know what? I'm going to go. Oh, okay. That's good. I mean, that's the intention, I think. I don't want people to be like, I don't want to fall. I got to force them in here, I think, somehow. So what I'm going to do actually is get them to be stuck. Get them down here on purpose. Because I don't want people to be like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to drop. I know I can't make it. And then they go looking around different solutions. That's not what we want them to do. We want them to commit to dropping down here. So I think what I'm going to do here is just a little bit of like, make it look unassuming, make it look not so dangerous. It's like, oh, it seems like there's something going on here. Like so. And then have this ledge. And then we will get rid of this part. Yeah. And then the instruction for dropping will move over here. A little bit better. Cooley says, you don't know Michael Jordan. It's true. But Michael Jordan was not referred. Well, actually, that's not true. Michael Jordan also was referred to as MJ back in the day, huh? Devi says, Lamau, the innocence. That's not innocence. I guess in context of plants, I should have known. Cloud says, what is your game about? This game is a puzzle platformer plus kind of Obra Dinn-ish in that you get a snapshot of different times. And you either solve the puzzle by traveling between different snapshots of the time period or looking at the snapshot and figuring out clues and moving forward. Julio says, I always put something to listen to on my phone as I go to sleep. And for a few months last year, every time I would wake up somehow, it would always be Markiplier's Stanley's Parable video. Whoa, that's kind of creepy. You sure you're not in the Stanley's Parable game right now? That's part of... You never woke up, actually. Never all bore? I don't know how to say that. Says, what are you doing? I'm making a game. That's what we're doing here. We're leveling... Well, we're making level design, more specifically. Now, I made a mistake of putting the whole level as this. This is a whole level. And I put it under game in my main game. So if I want to do a scene transition, I got to make sure this whole thing is in its own structure. Will be like a tutorial level, right? That's going to be its own thing, which we can load and unload. Right. So we'll go make a scene here, save branch. I got to make sure everything else is not part of it. If I make this a scene, is anything going to break? Possibly. So let's see. Create a new thing. We're going to create a level here. We made a tutorial level. Start the game and see how that goes. Mike R says, morning. Hey, Mike R. Still releasing soon. Yes, we're releasing soon. Forever. Did I tell you? So remember last time we were... well, I was making a video. I made a video saying, hey, this is how you're going to finish your game. Finally, your game project will finish. I feel like that is a different color than this one. I'm not tripping, right? I gotta fix this. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do this camera thing real quick. I'm like, wait, that's definitely bluer than the other one. This one is like lighter. Let me get to it. Yeah. Yes. Okay, okay. That's more purple. Oh, blue purple. Wait, it's supposed to be the same color. How come this one is more intense? I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the maybe it's the proximity to the wall. Yeah, what the heck? Huh. That bothers me a little bit. But you know what? We're going to deal with this actually later. Brains Up says, we make a game? Okay, coach, put me in. Exactly. I was saying that basically like, hey, like we're so bad. We're so bad. Also, unrelated, well, related note, coincidentally, guess what I saw on Reddit? On the game dev Reddit recently, I saw, what's up with all the content making YouTubers never finishing their game or releasing their game? I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. It hurts, but you're right. You know? But I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't have a credibility here. I promise I know how to release games. So I want to release a game. But thing is, this is not just a content creator issue. This is a oh, there it is. Cool. This is a game developer or hobbyist issue in general. So I was saying, you know what? We're gonna finish it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. Hey, thanks for the follow, Divine Wind. A lot of people can relate to the fact that, oh, whoops. Only no. Also, thanks for the follow 1 hour ago. Sorry. Oh no, that was 5 hours ago. Never mind. You weren't here. It's an indie game issue. Yes, Mike, you're very aware. And I wanted to go beyond just jam game. I want to release a game like with a demo, with a Steam page and all that stuff. So I was saying like, oh, we're gonna do one. This is gonna be a community. I'm making a very like lightweight video that's just meant to be a status update. It's like this week I'm doing this, next week I'm going to do this, and then I come back and be like, oh, report. Here's a sprint report. I did it, or like I couldn't do it because blah, 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 blah. Like truly a devlog. And part of that is not only am I doing it, I'm expecting you guys to do it with me, right? And that's why I create a new Discord channel. And a lot of people already joined because of that video. We have under our game dev channel, there's something called My Game Progress. And this is meant to be like weekly, daily, it doesn't matter. Just kind of reporting a bullet point of like, I'm planning on doing this and this is what I'm going to do. By the way, this is the game I'm working on. So this was a mock-up. I'm making this video right now. So this is a mock-up of this like Slay the Spire like roguelike RPG combat. And these are like supposed to be different tiles. That's a style. So if people are in a melee range, it combines the tile to make it look like right next to each other. And so that's the kind of game that I'm working on. That's a separate one from this one, which is the puzzle platformer thing that I wanted to finish for Next Fest, which obviously is looking pretty abysmal. But here's another thing. Yesterday I was like, why is my bot not working? Ugh, my bot is not having a good time. Hello bot. Whatever. I'll just copy and paste the link. Invite to server. Oh, I'll do it off screen just in case. Copy. Boom. Here it is. I'll show you a secret thing. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm kind of wanting to do this as like a separate video as well. Because my goal right now is like, okay, I need the game to be fun within 5 minutes. People need to grok the concept within like 3 seconds. Everybody knows rock, paper, scissors. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make rock, paper, scissors and make it like special. So I've been experimenting with this game. So I made this yesterday. So you can see like, this is like the game of like, oh, there's a character and tells you it's going to either do paper or rock. There's a 50-50% chance. And then I can be like, oh, if I use rock, I guess I get +1 to my damage that builds up, +1 to armor, and then +4 crit chance. So I'm like, okay, well, is it paper or rock? So I'm going to do paper, and then it builds the armor. I tried different things here. I've tried different concept for this. I feel like I'm overloading the rock paper scissors portion because like I intuitively understand how rock paper scissors work, but this additional feature on each move makes it really confusing in terms of like what I need to do next. And then the like strategizing wise, it doesn't quite show up. I'll show you the best part. I think the best part is when there's 2 enemies at the same time. Yeah, I drew this really quickly. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. So, oh, dang. Okay. It's going to be rock or paper. So I made this last night. It took me like 3 hours, I think, to do all that. Now you have 2 opponents at the same time. This one's going to do paper. This one's going to be scissors. So like what's safe? Scissors is a safe move. So this part is kind of fun. It's like, oh, okay, I'm thinking, I'm strategizing, I'm looking at what I should prioritize killing first. In this case, there's chance of all 3 moves, but rock is more likely, so I'm going to do paper here. There you go. I take a little bit of damage. I should have taken damage there. Oh, I have armor, so I'm not taking any damage. So easy, whatever. But I was like, you know what? I don't know if that works. I tried different things. I tried using cooldown. There's actually a cooldown thing. So I'm working on this. I'm working on this to be fun. I have some ideas in my head. So yeah, right now I'm working on 3 games simultaneously. That is not counting my main Uber game. Uber game being like my main focus game, which everybody knows. We got Dread on Arrival. We got Blood is Mana. And then we have that other Bullet Hell game that we've been working on. Too many. So we really need to finish. We really need to finish out here. Bigger says, how's the game coming along? Wait, this isn't the game? Yeah, exactly. Every time you tune in, there's 3 different games, I think. I have a problem. Fruit Superman says, have you seen Handmancers? No, I haven't seen Handmancers. Sounds like it's a rock, paper, scissors game. But a lot of games are rock, paper, scissors game. It's just how you manipulate it. Let's see. My car says, I'm in the same boat, pushing hard to try and release some games this year. My goal is to release on Steam and recover $100. That is it. I mean, that's a good goal. My car says, what is your Discord? I just shared it. We're good here. Devi says, yes, I have arrived again. Oh, no, I didn't know you were gone. Kopchioski design? Kopuchiosa? I don't know how to say its name. Sorry. Says, I saw some of your videos and level of editing is mind-blowing. You deserve more views, bro. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to tone down the editing a little bit. So that I can release videos more often. And of course, like some of the editings are fun. It's great, whatever. Makes it feel more professional. But at the same time, you know what? I got to conserve my time and focus on making good videos with good content over and over again, as opposed to just taking like forever to make one. So here we are. But appreciate it. Appreciate you appreciating my editing here. Sometimes, a lot of times I do use editor. A lot of my early videos I haven't used editor, so I go back and forth depending on the cost and situation. One Momo, thanks for the follow out here. Devi says, sorry, ran a lol. My brain needed to be dumped of story stuff. I see. Yeah, you gotta take your writing down. Of course, says every game is rock, paper, scissors. They're just painted pretty and differently. Yeah, exactly. But there is, and I think this is what's beneficial of making a really like easy prototype or like really small game mechanic. Because in my head, I thought, oh, there's not a strategic component of the original idea that I had with that. So I put it together. I played it, and I was like, it's not clicking. Like, I feel like I would know the feeling that I get from playing a good game or game that I'm going to enjoy for a long time typically clicks like almost immediately. After a while, I was like, oh, I get it. Like that happens. That didn't happen with the game idea I was working on. So I'm going to revisit that. I have some ideas with that. Before now, for the stream, this is what we're going to work on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a scene transition here for the tutorial level. And that's going to be area, and it's going to be end zone. I'm going to put end zone here so that we transition. Collision shape will simply be a box. And wow, it's all the way over there. That's kind of unfortunate. I'm going to move it over here. Boom. 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 This is going to be the end zone. I'm going to extend this out so that it feels more potentially so that there's an opportunity to like fade in. Maybe not. Maybe it's okay. Kind of want it to drop for a while. Okay, I'm going to have it drop a little more, actually, for a dramatic effect. I want it to feel... Oh, you know what? I could do this and then transition to the next scene. You're right. Copicio says, agree. Right now is better to make 10 videos with great editing than 3 with mind-blowing. Exactly. I agree. And, you know, I've learned my lessons. I just recorded a video this morning which talks about monetizing and planning for longevity in terms of being a solo game dev and being able to live off of it, like going full-time, transitioning to full-time solo game deving and content making. And I do a lot of review or reflect back on what I've learned in the 2 years and what I would do and what I would tell people. And there are some insights that I share there, which I'm trying to follow right now. Let's see. Mikori says, a junior dev in game dev seeing prod code, it's all states. It always has been. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it always has been. Cooley says, it's a state machine of state machines. Exactly. And state machines are just very complicated booleans and if statements. Essentially, I mean, you could make any state machine in a single file. It'll be huge and complicated to follow. I personally like, you know what? I actually like a single file state machine for something that is thin and complex relationship between the states. Because I like essentially, you know how we like to define when we're creating state machines being like state blah, blah, blah. In order to do that, it means blah, 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 right? For example, for motion, oftentimes you go, get into a walking state for the animation if the velocity is blah, 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 and combination of blah, 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 right? All these other conditions. That's what makes the state become that. Well, it's obfuscation from the actual meaning. The actual meaning of the state is that the character is moving. All we care about is that the state is defined by the condition. And we're putting name around it, and we're putting extra enum for it for us to understand it. So conceptually, if it's not that complex to understand, especially if state transition can happen from any state to another state, and all that is a single transitional state condition being met in every state, then I don't need a state machine. I just need a bunch of Boolean values and if statements. So I don't know. That's something that I've been kind of wrestling with out here. Okay. Baka says, while falling, you could have the hourglass starting to glow. Maybe changing the shader, you have a circle of light and the character then disappear. Could be the default transition to a new level. Ooh, I do like that. I mean, loading screen, right? Then we're saying that's the loading screen. That's definitely going to bring it to a professional look-in level. All right, end zone. We're going to say if the body enters, end zone is going to detect the player collision, not the hurt box. It's detecting the player collision. It lives in the environmental collision world, but it detects that. It's monitoring, but it's not monitorable. And when the body is detected, when the body enters, I can do something with the level here. Platform world, this is a world information. I guess I will have a default signal that anybody can extend and say, okay, here's the two things. I could signal out of level, and then the game logic listens to the level signal, or each level or any node has a global access to a scene transitional signal bus or node. I think both works, but I like to keep it separated. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the tutorial level just signal out saying that I am done. And what level it transitions to next. Now, the question is, should it be determined by the level itself or should it be determined by the game? I think it should be determined by the level. So level will tell us transition level, and it's going to give us the level ID, which will be string here, I think. And so when the area enters on the end zone, we can do that. Right now, platform world is doing a bunch of stuff here. Let me just see if any of these... Okay, good. So I think I could make one that extends the platform world and call it a tutorial level and have its own logic. So I'm going to say tutorial level script will extend the platform world, which, you know, whatever. And then it's going to have signal and everything already. The unreadies are already set up. And I'm going to just do a body listening here. Yes, I'm not going to connect this programmatically. I'm doing it manually. Baka says, like in every level at the end, you brought... Oh, hold on. Shush. Okay. While falling, you could have the hourglass starting to glow. Could be the default transition to a new level. Like in every level at the end, you brought the item, it glows. Flash of light, boom, transition. I do like that. I like that. I do like that a lot. That is if it's not a Metrovania. I do feel like there's a sense of like, if it's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, then there's a big meaning in doing that. What if it's like a world and you get to go back and forth different biomes, except the tutorial level you can't go back to? Yeah. Is it a Celeste or is it Hollow Knight? I mean, that's the idea, I think, here. Anyway, so we're going to say when this enters, we're going to say level, transition level, and then we're going to emit the ID here. And then I think what we can do is give ourselves... I mean, I could do the mapping of the ID to the level thing with a helper function, like the ref counted function, like the static function. Or I could just build that ID in onto the platform world. Only problem with that is platform world will... Every instance of the platform world will have a loaded scene, which is not ideal. So also, I don't want to preload everything all the time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a level helper that loads actively when things are needed. For now. I mean, I might change my mind. So we'll have level loader. This is potentially a bad name, but we'll see. Ironically, for a lot of the games I make, loading different scene is not something that I do often, I have to say. I have to admit. Ref count it, and it's not going to be it's a singleton, so we're going to have a static constant, which means just a constant of... So if I make it constant, so for example, if I say, hey, you know what, the ID to a level would look something like this, right? We could be like, oh, tutorial, and then it'll have like preload of the tutorial level like this, and then we're like doing the packed scene thing. This means this is already loaded, right? By as soon as the game starts, because it's constant. And if I'm truly being like, oh, I want it to load on call as opposed to being preloaded, shouldn't it be on the function? Like function mapping instead? I do feel like there's some issues with this approach because it forces everything to be preloaded. If I don't want to force that, I'll have to be like get level, and then we get the level ID, and then we'll have to actually do a like match on the level ID and then return loads, right? It has to be like, oh yeah, tutorial, then, you know, return the loaded version of the tutorial level, etc., etc. Though, can I do UID here? Will that work? Like that. And say entrance, for example. And then if I make an entrance level, scene entrance level, then that's going to be 2D node. And then I go whoop, like so. It's going to load that. And that means on transition level, we're going to emit level loader. Oh, we're not even going to do that here. We're just going to simply go entrance, which hard-coded string is no good, right? We don't like that, just in case we misspell things. Doing things right is always a little bit of a hassle, honestly. So you would have something like level ID. And it's going to do something along the lines of tutorial, entrance, etc., etc. So you get something like this. Then we get to point of not having to hard code it. You can always refer to it. I mean, that's the technically right way to do it. Hey, Jacob. I don't know what lamb is, by the way, bucket design. LAM. Boom, transition. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna consider that. I don't exactly immediately obviously know what I can do with that. So I'm reserving my excitement with that one. We're going to get entrance in here. So it's going to emit as soon as the body loads. That means Jacob says, how is it going? Yeah, we're doing well. We're making our games here. We're flying through. And we were just chit-chatting about how many games I have, and I'm trying to finish this one in particular. Jacob says, rockin'. Yes, rockin' indeed. What is it? Party rockin' something something tonight. I don't know the lyrics, but I feel like that sounds familiar. Something something party rockin'. Not the kind of music I listen to, I gotta say. I haven't listened to music in a while because I don't drive. Jacob says, party rockers in the club tonight, I think. Oh, I see. Well, we all know what Jacob listens to. All right, let's see who's lurking in our Berry Folk world. We got Just Covino. Just Covino's lurking. We got Watermelon Sea out here. You know you can't stay quiet here. You know I'll be checking on you. All right. So tutorial level, it signals out transition level. I'm going to assume that this works here. And when transition level gets loaded or called, I will do the responsible thing and load in the next scene. I'm just going to pop the scene out, get the player out of there. The problem with the player body is that if I free this, everything underneath will die at the same time. But then the player character is part of the scene. So we got to make sure that the player character gets rescued. I'm going to make sure that the player character is on its own group so I can just do get tree and then retrieve it. So I think I'm going to do this and say player. And I think that's the only information I need to have because player character already retains information on what it's holding and what it's not holding. So we're going to close that out. Basically, I'm going to have a main game attachment here. Class name main. And the main on ready, actually, we're going to start right, actually, and say load level level loader, level ID, tutorial as the first one. That means we need to have a load level function with the, I suppose, not that. I wanted to have level scene, which will be platformer world. And that's going to be level var tutorial ID. And then we're going to say level loader. It's a static function, I think. Let me go back to it. Oh, it's not. Static func get level. And I'll say get level. And that one, we got to give a contract of returning a platform world, which happens to be packed scene. So we got to instantiate it. Instantiate. Right? Does that work? I don't know if you need to instantiate that. Need, hold on. I'm getting really confused here. You have a resource to a scene. Once you load it, you have a packed scene. A packed scene needs to be instantiated, yes? I think so. We'll see. We'll find out very quickly if it works or not. You know, there's no point in doing things in my head. Nobody's going to be impressed because I do it in my head. You know what I mean? Okay. So we do that. And then that also means we're going to drop this. Debbie says, lol. What? What's so particularly funny about this? I'm very serious out here. Character config, that's all there. I'm going to actually, can I cut this out? Oops. I'm gonna put it in main real quick. And then have this be on ready here. On ready gets registered, and I don't know if it's going to be always available at this point. I gotta be careful here. So I'm not even gonna do this actually. We're gonna load the world. We'll drop the tutorial level. And then we're going to make it so that we're going to add the level here. And then get tree, get first node in group player. And then var player body. This one is player body. And then we're going to add player to start level and give player as the beginning. That means tutorial level, otherwise platform world needs a abstract function on start level, which takes in a player body, player character body, and then the implementation of that will be implemented by this guy here. Func start level, player, character body. And then we want the beginning position here. I'm going to just grab a marker and do marker to D and actually put it over starting position. And then I'll just do this right here like that. And starting position on tutorial level, we'll say start level, starting position, and then player position equals this. And then we'll put add child, the player. Hopefully it'll immediately be available for movement. Technically, I would like to say unpause so that there's no like, while the screen is dark, player is able to move. Oh, okay. Something's a little different, isn't it? Because I scaled everything by 2, I think, yeah, it's auto-adjusting the size, the transform to match the original size when it's being added. Let me see. Now, hold on. Something's a little funky here. Transform, we got the scale for the whole thing as 2. You're scaling the whole thing by 2. And we accept that. But then the player character itself is not scaled here. This will fix it, but it's kind of a janky way to fix it. Devi says, I started humming Mario because of how fast and tiny the character looked. Dun, 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 dun. Exactly. Boop, boop, boop. We got that. We go here. Boom. Oh. Oh, right. Right. Because we added the player character onto this. That means the parallax. Hold on. Why is parallax? Let me think about this. Something is funky here. I mean, I could manually set the canvas layer to be -1. I guess I should, because parallax will always be behind. But that seems a little weird, isn't it? Devi says, ghosted, lol. Did he fall through the world? Is this bug or feature? Yeah, exactly. No, it's the parallax just drew on top of it. It's because of the drawing order. He was there. And here I am. Woo! And this will break, I'm pretty sure. Oh. Okay, cool. So when we're loading the main, we're loading a level, we definitely have to go, hey, level. We're going to get your transitional level and connect that on scene transition. Or I guess we should call it something else. Level transition. And we're going to have a function here with level information, which I think is just level loader, level ID. And what we're going to get here is drop the current level, which I guess I should keep. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but yeah. So we're going to have the current level here. As the level comes in, we are loading it. We're setting the level to be that. First thing, we're going to do some clearing and loading. Loading, then clearing, I guess. So we can say, hey, level will get loaded. Wow, this one does all that automatically, huh? So we can say var previous level will be the current level here. And then we're going to load level, which is the new level ID here. Like so. I think that gets loaded. And once it loads, we're going to just simply say start level, which it did. I guess start level should happen after the connection happens. Okay. We're going to make our entrance level real quick. Entrance level will be a extension of platform world. Class name and entrance level. And then this is gonna yell at us because this is an abstract, so it's like saying do this thing. So we're gonna do that. Start level. The way the start level is going to work, we need to probably create our level again. I mean, this is a part where probably inheriting a level rather than reconstructing everything probably is better. So if we have like a base level, that would be easy. But alas, we don't need, what is this one? Okay, that's the blocking thing. We don't need instructions here. All we need is this omnipresent, present, and past tiles. So I think what we can do is actually copy these existing thing and then get rid of everything else here. Present doesn't require anything right now. Omnipresent, we don't need anything right at this second. We're going to clear the tile map. Make sure we do that appropriately. Like that. Delete. We're going to hello? Seems like it's drawing. Oh, it is. Do that real quick. And we're going to have another marker. Or before I do the marker, let me draw. So we're going to have is some maps here. Get rid of some debugging, some error messaging, and tile map, terrain, default. We're going to draw some stuff here. I think ideally we want it to fall for a bit. So let's fall from top here. Top, top. There's a lot of noise going on from upstairs neighbor. And then I think what we're going to do here, maybe a little bit of irregular. Oh, you know what? I got to be careful with these ledges so players don't feel tempted to go in there. And then we're going to do a little bit of like little irregular shapes. Like so. It's going to drop, 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 drop. Boom. Right here, right? And then this is naturally because makes people want to go in there. It's like, oh, I wonder what's in there. And then I'm going to say the starting position is probably somewhere around here. Marker. We'll put the starting position. And then put that boop, right here. And same thing. We're going to do the same thing as the tutorial level here that we did. We're just going to add the player and put it into the starting position here. And then add the player, and it's going to do the logic thing. Only thing is that the player is... We need to make sure that on transition, we got to deparent the player so that the player is not belonging to any world. So we're going to say... They're doing something upstairs. It's really noisy out here. Hold on. I'll be back. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing like ruckus. I guess it really is upstairs. Yeah, it's not in the place. Jacob is like, game deving. Yeah, we're game deving out here. Oh, you mean my neighbor is also game deving? That's why they're making all the ruckus. Maybe they're rotoscoping all the sprites. Original Prince of Persia style. Okay, so on level transition, we got the ID, blah, 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 all that stuff. Good, 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 good. I think we do need to grab the player here. Oh, it already does the player grabbing, huh? So we got to make sure that the player, if player has a parent, I think it needs to be retrieved out, right? Wait, how come this worked? Jacob says, I wish I was game deving. I'm day jobbing. Oh, I'll have you know, I'm like this close to getting a day job, or at least start looking. Life is rough here, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I'm surprised it worked without. Okay. Player, get parent, remove child player. A little funky, but I think it'll work. Oh my gosh. What's happening here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, now. Kaleidoscope says Jacob, same. Jacob says that dang economy, exactly. Economy sucks right now. No, I really don't want to go to day job. Devi's like, boo. Yeah, exactly. Devi's doing everything they can to. Devi and Devi's family is supporting me right now. Wait, something happened. Okay, hold on. Previous level, we load the level, and then we're gonna queue free, I guess. I feel a little weird. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna queue free. We'll do a transition, like we can say, okay, transition animation. You know what? This could be our transition animation. Look, we're just gonna go here. We'll put on the canvas layer, new canvas layer here, and we'll say scene cover, and then we're gonna get our little texture, color rect, and then put a little veil. Boom, there you go. And then what we're gonna do is have a scene transition logic, UI, scene cover, and we'll do that. And it's going to just be like funk fade in or fade out, which will be just create tween. And then that. Jacob says, well, I hope you don't have to get a day job. No, I really don't. I really hope that I don't. But, reality is reality. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. The thing is, I mean, I do still have a runway. But part of me is like, I'm using some of my runway for a, what do you call a speculative investment that I'm hoping that it will work out. And then the real worry here isn't that I'm running out of money for me, my personally, is that I want to still have that amount of money invested to benefit from the speculated investment when it does work. Nothing worse than being forced to liquidate and seeing the liquidated potential go up. Being like, if I spent a little less. That is life here. BLR says, I watched all of your Delaunay implementation video. Did you do that to overcome a problem of how Godot implements its own way it does it? Did I do that to overcome the Godot's way? Um, that's a great question. I did it because that was interesting to me to solve. And having my own solution for being able to do Delaunay triangulation and the minimum map spanning is something that is useful to have. But at the same time, there's no just straight up Godot dot do Delaunay triangulation on these graphs, I don't think. Unless you can inform me, then I'll be happy to hear about that. I do not believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe there's a way to just go do a triangulation between these graphs. Yeah, that's at least my approach. But I'm ready to be corrected. But thanks for watching the whole thing. I hope it was informative. I know. Dungeon generation is something interesting. I do hope to finish the procedural generation series, mostly because I'm going to use it as my own tool for a procedurally generating dungeon. I know it's taking a lot of time in between, but those are like huge videos, so it's really hard to do. Especially if it doesn't do very well, but here we are. Jacob says, well, how you don't get a day job, blah, blah, blah. Hey, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Gifted sub, Jacob. Look at you supporting the community and me. Thanks for supporting me. Alms for the poor, please. It's like professional beggars out here. Technically, content makers are professional panhandlers, right? Jacob Devs, I don't wish that upon anyone else. Clyde No Scope says, how does one escape corporate to make personally fulfilling creative projects? That is the question, isn't it? I have some strategy. I'm going to share it in future videos. I think it's coming up this week, and hopefully that inspires you to do something. Here's a hint. How much do you think YouTube ad generate income? Is there a guess? All right. Here's a guess. Here's a good fun game that we're gonna play a little bit. This is only for the live audience. I bet whoever is watching VODs and here live will get to see this. I think is really deep in there. All right, I'm gonna take out my most popular video. My most popular video on YouTube. Jacob says, if we all give 1,000 sub bundles, we can keep you all afloat. I could always reduce my living expenses. All right. I'm gonna do this real quick. This is my deck builder series. This is my how to make a roguelike card game on Godot Kodo Long series. Okay. This one has, what's the view here? 225K views. I don't have a single million view video. Okay. This is my highest one. It's really good. I like it. How much money do you think 255 or 225,000 views get you? Do you have a guess? I'm only sharing this because this is hopeful. In my opinion, it's kind of hopeful in that if everything does this well, maybe. Devi says $225. Jacob says, I'm going to guess $400. All right, ready? And those are good guesses. And I'll tell you why those are good guesses. Kaleidoscope says $7,000. Wow. That bad, huh? Devi says 2.25. K, you mean 2.25K. All right. The answer is yes. It's a $2,259 video. It's actually pretty good. It's not bad for the view. And I'll show you the details here. It kind of sucks, right? On average, advertisers pay YouTube $30 and I'm getting $10 out of it. Not bad. Every 1,000 views. But this is a reality. Yeah, they do it that way, and it's, I mean, it's fair. They're providing the platform, blah blah blah. But the reality, this is a reality, okay? That one is particularly good because think about it. That's my best performing video. Not only that, it's a like 2-hour long tutorial code along video that whoever watches it actually watches it all the way. Like a big portion of the views watch it all the way, and it's a long video. Jacob says, not bad at all. I swear I read a thing about it was like 1,000 ish per mil. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it changes a lot. It really depends on it. Okay. I'm going to go look at the other videos here. Let's take a look at our next biggest one. Hey, why is there a hype train coming in? All right. This one right here. I don't know. Is this too off topic? Let me know if it's too off topic, but I think this is kind of relevant because we're talking about games. This is one of my first viral videos that I got. This one has 143,000 views. The caveat is about like 20,000 views of this. I wasn't monetized. It got monetized later. Like, this was my third video I released on this channel. So 143K views. This is my next biggest one. This one made, if this would load. Come on. YouTube is like, no, you're sharing internal metrics. No. This one only made $280. And that's not just because I wasn't monetized for the first whatever view. It's also because of this. Revenue per 1,000. Compared to the $10 I got, this one is $2. Isn't that crazy? It's so different between this and the other one. I'm getting $2 per 1,000. Debbie says emotional damage. Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's like, okay, if you look at one side of it, it's very hopeful. It's very hopeful that you can do content making and follow along and do that. But the flip side is that really, if you're just doing for clicks, if people are just clicking and really not paying attention or whatever, and it's not long enough, then you don't get much money out of it. So you really need to strike that balance. There's a potential. For sure, there's a potential. There's something there where if I can get million view or like 250, like 250,000 or more views every video, and then every one of them have a high RPM or whatever you call that, the CPM, right? Then this is doable. This is very doable, but that's not the case. So here we are. Jacob says, what advertised on the other one? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can see what the advertisements are, but you know, categorically speaking, I do think that the software engineers are one of the cheapest consumers, even though they make the most, or one of the most. Because they're like, I did my research. I'm just going to buy the one that is the best. According to research, I will not be influenced by the ads or something like that. I don't know. I do get influenced by ads all the time. I'm like, ooh, McDonald's ad. I want to eat McDonald's suddenly. Yeah. That's who I am. But here we are. You got to see a little inside look. At the content making. Hopeful, but at the same time, not very hopeful. Jacob says, well, all the people that want to quit like you did need to start saving. Yeah, exactly. Hey, everybody. I know you quit to follow your dream, but I swear, if you give me your money right now, that your dream will be fulfilled through me. Donate. Yeah, donate. I will help you fulfill your dream. Just make me rich, and you can live your dream through me. Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to work. The math is mathing. Uh, it feels weird though sometimes. Jacob says, I'm definitely looking forward to your vid about how to skate corporate for creative dev. Do you think I have an answer? Uh, it's just an honest communication, guys. All my video is just honest communication. I really can't do these like, I have a hard time doing these like, I know if I talk about something in a certain way, that probably will do well and people will trust me, but I don't have it in me to just say stuff just because it's gonna give me views or money, whatever. It feels awful. Um, but yeah, I will do my best to provide information as much as I can. Jacob says, well, all the people that want to quit like you did need to start saving. True. Yep. Anyway, so we're going to fade out and in and out. So we're going to say tween property specifically. Hey, yo. Hype train ended. It's okay. Tween property, we're going to tween the color rect here, which is the veil. And I want to change its color, actually. And then specifically, not just any color. I want to take the veil color, which will be color rect.color here. And then we're going to grab that and we're just going to go alpha. And target right now is, or we're going to do alpha equals 0. Alpha equals 1. So we're going to go from 0 to 1. So we're going to go alpha equals 0 here, and we're going to go to alpha. The veil color is the target, and we're going to transition. So about 0.4 seconds or 0.3 seconds. And then once we're done with that, we're going to go back to the veil color, alpha being 0 here. Add it again, and then we're going to fade in a little bit more rapid. And then we're going to await tween to finish. Finished. So that's fade out and fade in. Fade. Oh, we got to do it separately here. Let's do fade out, fade in. So we're going to do that. Boop, boop, boop. Fade in, also a tween. We're going to do that and then await on tween to finish. Devi says, oh no, it's math. Yeah, exactly. All right. So veil color, we're going to go to 0 alpha here, and then we're going to fade in here. And scene cover will be available by the main scene specifically. Even though technically a lot of people will be like, why don't you just do signal bus to trigger the signal for the fading in and out? You're right. Why don't I? We're going to fade out here. And then we're going to cue free. And then once we are done with that, we're going to load the level. And then we're going to fade in. And hopefully that works. Boo, boo. I need to make a digital 8-bit sound for this game somehow. I'm speedrunning my own game right now. Yeah. Woo. Oh. It transitioned, but it didn't fade it in and out. I don't like. Also, the scale is different. Okay, hold on. I know why that happened, but that's not the point right now. Transform. We're going to double that. Okay, so we went here. We said scene, fade out, tween finish. We're going to go to here. Why did it? 0.3? Maybe 0.3 was a little bit too fast. Let's do 1 second here. Scene transition, previous level. We're going to fade out. We're going to wait on fading out. And then we're going to cue free. And then we're going to start fading in with level loaded. Devi says his back to being Biggie Small. Yeah, apparently that's part of the feature. It's part of the game. It's meant to be featureful. All right. Here we are. Boop, boop. At least the control feels okay. It doesn't feel awful. That's good news. Oh. Wow, that transition was a little bit too smooth. You did it. That was kind of smooth, actually. I didn't even notice that it was moving. Hold on. How did that happen? Anyways, it was doing that because it was just like a little black square in the corner. There you go. Yeah, Davey says he pulled the Matrix, exactly. That's pretty cool, actually. We go. What if I make the game where the entire background music is just me humming? All the sound effect is just me humming and like pew-pewing. Oh. Okay. Hold on. There's something there. It felt, if that looked good, it's just that the character loaded in a little too quick, right? Debbie says, I get that to hear you sing. But that's not technically singing, is it? Start level. Let's see. We're loading the player into the position, which is the starting position here. All the way up here. And camera's the problem right now because the camera transition happens too suddenly. We might have to turn the camera off. And then jump. Yeah, we might have to turn off the camera and then turn it back on, potentially. Because right now, the whole like transitioning of the camera from single position to another is still happening here. I think. Is it? I feel like it is. Let me see what that looks like. Debbie says it all counts. If you say so. Whatever you say, ma'am. All right. I gotta see it without the fade and see what it looks like. I mean, it looks cool, but I kind of wanted to see the character drop a little bit before transitioning. Because if it doesn't do that, I may have to be like, oh, I'll pause it. Oh? Wait. Oh, this is happening a little bit too quickly now. All right. we need to fade. So hold on. Fade out. We do fade in. I wonder if the gravity is just a little too fast. We are loading a level after starting the fading in. We start the player. Entrance level position is here. The character is dropping. How about we go all the way up here? Is that gonna... Hi, Mighty Moch. Mighty Mochi Games. Welcome. Devi says hello, hello too as well. We're having a good time here. Welcome. I hope you're having a great indie game development sessions out here. We're struggling a little bit. We're doing a little bit of a scene transition, but also dynamic one at that. So it's looking a little funky here. Oh, okay. That was really fast. That was really fast. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to get rid of the position smoothing and see what happens with that instead. Because that'll show us exactly where the camera thing is happening. Boom. Fade in, fade out. Okay. So, okay. One thing I don't like, I feel like the gravity is a little too strong for me. I don't like it. So I'm going to go to movement here. I'm going to reduce the gravity force to be like, I don't know, 20 instead. And then that means we're going to reduce the jump power. So we're going to say jump power will be like 300 instead. Let's see if that feels better. Okay. Not bad. We might have to make the jump a little bit stronger for 60. Okay. Maybe the jump can be slightly stronger. Or I meant the gravity. Just testing here. Feels okay. I mean, it doesn't feel as like snappy, but doesn't feel too bad. Okay. Cool. I think we can do position smoothing again on the camera. We'll reduce it to 2.4 here. And then I'm going to go to my entrance level and bring down this. I think I'm going to make this a little bit narrower actually. So I'll just select this, move it over like that. Let's see if that feels a little bit better. Man, this like a game feel is a huge part of level design, it feels. Poison Dark says, thank you for streaming. It helps me get into the mood to continue working on my project. That's good. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's fun. It's fun to do these little things. I think you and I both probably know that like a lot of the work for some people, they have this relationship with showering where they actually enjoy the feeling once you're in that hot water and whatnot. But then the whole idea of like, oh, that actually was pretty cool, even though that's not what it was intended to be. Um, Rafa says, this is looking fun. What's it gonna be? Hi, Rafa. Once again, thanks for buying the course. This is some sort of platformer, puzzle platformer with the like time snapshot concept, if that makes sense. Like you're going between snapshot of the past and then the present. I do want it to be slightly Metrovania. Yes. In that you get upgrades, you revisit different areas that were locked up that you can newly access, I guess. Hey, Hypnotic. Hypnotic got the first. 1 hour and 30 minutes into the stream. Wait, did you actually get it? I thought Void did it. Was Void not here? Oh, Void's not here. That's right. That's why. It's sleepy time for Void. Hypnotic's like, owned you all. That's right. We got Gedunst. Boom. All right. That feels great. I still don't like the fact that I didn't get to see him fall, that he's already here. It's a little bit annoying, but it's okay. Another thing, I do think that we can make it so that this is all moved over. Let's do this. We'll move the starting position to be like this. What if we go all the way up here? What happens? Is that going to break the game? That's what the sound is. No, I don't really know. I feel like there's some sort of like harpsichord vibe here I can see. Where it be a little waltz sound. Dung, 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 dung. Okay. It really has hard time following the player. I think that's the issue. It's not even the starting position. It's just never get to catch up. I think that's the problem here. Also, you know what I noticed about my gravity here? There's no terminal velocity. It gets infinitely faster and faster as it goes down. We probably should set a terminal velocity of the fall so that camera can always catch up no matter how fast things are moving. So let's see. Under the movement node, we have this, right? Boom. And I do think perhaps we set a terminal velocity here. Export, we'll say export var terminal velocity, which will be our terminal speed. How about that? And then that will be a float. And let's say terminal velocity will be 400. I might regret this, but we'll see. Then on the gravity force, we can cap. Let's see. Well, sign is kind of important. We're only terminally limiting downward speed, I guess. Y is greater than equal to terminal speed, which means we just want to set this to be a min between the terminal speed and the velocity itself.